Air, 87.8 FM, the new voice of Melbourne, serving the Jewish community. That's 87.8 FM and online at j-air.com.au.
Just as we in Australia are no stranger to bushfires, nor are the Israelis, as they are suffering the ravages of bushfires across the country, some of which have been started by Palestinians.
As one person has actually said, this is the first time that Palestinians have unleashed a weapon of mass destruction against our people, as it has been established that at least a number of those fires were deliberate arson attacks.
Israel has some of the best surveillance in the world to catch these arsonists, and the proof will be found and they will be brought to justice. But there are those on social media who make me feel sick.
But importantly, there were online enough debates, people are debating that it's good the fire is there, so at least they have their lesson.
Well, I hope he gets his lesson one day. This lady has lost her home, but she's a Holocaust survivor. Let's hear what she has to say.
Every day is a miracle for me. And the house, we'll build it back. And we'll build it even more beautiful.
How do you relate to the fact that this is not just any wildfire? This was probably a terrorist attack.
It's not probably. It was... We saw the fire, the Molotov, thrown from a car, passing a car. So it's the hatred.
Here we see Naftali Bennett, the right wing of the Israeli government. He will surely make political capital out of this horror.
We see here a concerted terror wave with the goal of killing Jews, burning their houses, and bringing horror and terror upon the people. But just like in other cases, the Am Yisrael has joined hands and is defeating this terror attack. We've seen hundreds and even thousands of volunteers across Israel working day in, day out in order to help each other, in order to fight the fire, and in order to win, and we will win.
Just a word about the international aid, we're seeing lots of that as well.
I think it's wonderful.
Just as Israel has responded to other crises across the world, now the world comes to help Israel with their planes and their firefighting expertise. But it's quite extraordinary that there is one example of the most unexpected help.
These Palestinian firefighters came from the West Bank to work with Israelis.
Okay, now you're Jewish, you're a rabbi, and your latest book is called Kosher Lust.
Yep.
Do you have to be Jewish to enjoy lust?
Are you kidding? I'm going to sell this book to absolutely everybody. And Joy, we've been friends a long time, but I deny you nuclear-fueled, rocket-powered sex. Come on, it's even for the uncircumcised, Kosher Lust is a cut above. It's there for everybody.
Oh, my God.
This is Rabbi Shmuel Boteach, an American, granted, but someone who seems to know more about sex than the average rabbi.
You know what you're talking about. You know what you're talking about. You have 9 kids.
You have 9 kids.
2 grandkids. You've been married to your wife for 27 years. Now, most people think that love is the foundation of a relationship, but you actually say it's lust?
I think love is actually ruining our relationships because it gives us this nurturing, comforting, friendship kind of bond that is nice, but it's not electrifying. Now, we know that women don't want to be loved because if they did, they would never leave their parents' household. Their parents don't divorce them. Their parents don't cheat on them. A guy might do that to you. What women want is to be chosen, and it's the one thing your parents can't do for you. To be chosen is to feel desired at all times. We need to be needed, we want to be wanted, we desire to be desired. And by the way, in the Bible, there is no commandment to love your wife. There is a commandment to lust after your wife. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, which means by direct implication, you sure as heck ought to be coveting your own.
That's a stretch.
Well,
I like that stretch. I like that. Think about that one for a little bit. Well, the book also references 3 things
that any marriage needs to survive, and you call them the 3 pillars of lust. So explain what those 3 pillars are.
Well, look, Steve Jobs made this the most successful product launch in the history of the world, not just because of its technology, and I don't work for Apple. He did 3 things. He didn't want us to love this phone. He wanted us to lust after the phone. He wanted us to wait online the way that Romeo waited outside of Juliet's balcony, as if it was something you could not live without.
They were 16 and they just met.
So think about it. The first thing he did is, the first rule of lust is unavailability. You make the phone unable to be bought. You have this unquenchable desire.
And of course, here it is, my iPhone 7 Plus that I just couldn't get a hold of for weeks. And yes, by the time I got it, I was desperate. Maybe he's got a point here.
Now, marriage is the opposite. It's where there's constant satiation of sex when really sometimes there should be obstacles to sex. The first rule of lust is we always want what we can't have, so unavailability.
True. That's true.
The second thing is that Apple never talks about their products before they launch it. They go into hyper-secrecy. Because mystery is the second rule of lust. And on marriage is way too open. We do everything in front of each other. We take care of our hygienic needs. We think it's about sharing absolutely everything. It's not. It's absolutely not. There's a mysterious dimension that always has to be maintained.
Isn't that lingerie? Like, not for other people to see, but just your husband?
Yeah.
Or is that like me not burping in front of everybody that I date?
That's what he means.
I can't have that.
Okay, I have no comment on that in particular, but...
I'm open. I'm with you.
You have to have a healthy element of mystery. And the final thing is sinfulness. Marriage is way too legal. Most women are much more sexual than men. We have this vision of the guy...
Wait. Women are more sexual than men?
Much more sexual. The men are uni-orgasmic. Right after the guy has sex, you can call the morgue. He's a dead man. You have a corpse in the bed next to you. And women are multi-orgasmic, and we have this idea that the guy says to his wife, how about some sex tonight? And she says, not tonight, I have a headache. But a man can have an axe lodged in his head, and he's still ready. It's not true. Women have much more elaborate sexual fantasies than men, and they are very aware of all the men who hit on them. And you know what? This is an amazing thing. They would never tell their husbands about that.